What do you do?
I am the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee representative in Uganda. I am responsible for coordinating the protection and assistance of refugees in support with the government and to help the government to adhere to the instruments that they have signed for refugee protection in Uganda.
What drove you into this field?
I think it's the right thing to do. I feel connected to the people that I serve, but also feel encouraged when I see changes in the lives of people that we serve, the refugees. Every time that I have been to the settlements, I have been to see the children, to see them play, to see families start from nothing to something, and to give them hope is something that really inspires me to do every day.
What is your greatest source of energy?
You know, we get inspired by what we are able to do. And it's not about how much we do or how much resources that we have, it's what we do today. So when I go to the field, I meet with my staff and staff of partners, I always encourage them to do the best they can with what they have. And I have been to also locations where it has been very, very difficult to see children that are arriving in the country almost dying from malnutrition. And then you get them through the rehabilitation, through the nutrition programs, and then you go back and you see those children playing football. That is very encouraging.
What is the best advice you've received?
My father was a committed carpenter, and he made sure that everything that he did was the best that he could do. And if it was time to provide a service to people, he would challenge them on what he is able to do, and that if he finishes the job and there's a problem, he would fix it free of charge. At one time, when he was making a stool for a customer, he made this one-legged stool and finished it properly. And when the customer came to receive it, he sat on it and shook himself and said, "This one will not break. If it breaks, it means somebody else has done something different." That for me is a certain type of commitment that I always feel I need to do because of the lesson that I learned with my father.
If it's not the same, what is the best advice you can give?
The best advice that I give to people is to live the now life. We cannot afford not to be present with our families, with our children. We need to be there with them and do whatever needs to be done for them. So we need to live our life now. And to live our life now means that we are present. When we are in conversation with other people, we are not just there as person, but we are there full body and mind and be able to be present in other people's life.
What would you like to achieve in this lifetime?
I would like, as a person, to be a good husband, a good dad to my sons and grandchild. I want to lead a debt-free life, and that's something that is very clear for me, debt-free. But I also want to support young people to be responsible and in their relationship, to make sure that we can build strong relations and strong families. That's what I want to do.
What brings us together?
Every human being desires to be close to another human being. And that desire is part of how we are created to enjoy the companionship, to enjoy life. And when we are connected as human beings, we can solve problems that face us as a team. So we need to be together. We need to extend our love for one another, regardless of what the other person has, or regardless of where they come from.
What makes us human?
We need to be fulfilled internally to be able to externally reach out to other people. If we ensure that we are connected and our bodies are connected to the self, then we are ready to connect with the other human being. The other human being depends on the stability of our hearts, stability of our being as a person. So if you are at peace with yourself, then you can reach out to another person.
What is your strongest conviction?
I am convinced that, one, we are created as instruments for God to use us. We are convinced that until you find out what God has put in your heart, you will not be able to connect what you do. And when you have found that calling that God has given to you, you will do that job regardless of the location, regardless of the time, regardless of the circumstances. So we need to find in us that which God has given to us.
What is the most courageous decision you've made?
The most courageous decision I ever made was in Ethiopia. We were faced with 21,000 people at the border, with 1,500 children that were severely malnourished, and we needed them to be moved from the border to a camp. In 2 days' time, those children, the 1,500 children I mentioned, were transported from the border to this location called Kule Camp, and they started receiving porridge, receiving support from the NGOs, and within a week, those children were running all over the camp. That was something that I still feel was the best that I would do to make sure that that job is done in good time. And we were able to open Kule Camp in 3 days with our partners and get all the children that were very, very sick from the border to that location and start leading their lives. Today, Gambela still has more refugees coming, but if you go there today, you find that lady driver still explaining to you that story.
What does home mean to you?
Home is a place where you are able to be at ease with your neighbors, with your friends, and you feel safe within that environment. That's my home.
What role does spirituality play in your life?
100%. Because without having that reference, because when you are able to forgive other people, you can maintain relationships. When you are able to overlook other people's mistakes, then you can build that relationship. And we need to be able to overlook other people's mistakes and say, oh, it was just a small issue. But when you are talking about forgiveness, there's not much that you can do that has not been forgiven to you. So as a Christian, you are forgiven by Christ. And when you are forgiven, you are given the power to forgive others.
Who are you?
My name is Bornwell Kantande. I come from Malawi, and I live here in Uganda with my wife. We have been married for 28 years.
What's your name? And if you know, what does it mean?
Well, my name is Bornwell Kantande. It's just what it is. I was born well. That's why I'm born well. The second name, Kantande, is a longer name, which means go and provoke the person who doesn't provoke others.